Hello, Chikirza here, and today I'm playing in my mixed media art journal. I've been having a lot of fun playing with various art supplies over the past few months, and I thought I'd share my journey with you. Now, sometimes things can get a little messy when playing with paints, which is definitely part of the fun, but I want to keep the pages behind the one I'm painting on nice and clean. I do this by using a flexible cutting board that I picked up at the dollar store and taping it down along the edge where the coil is. I like to dab the sticky side of the tape on my pants a few times to reduce the chance that the tape will rip the paper when I remove it at the end. Applying the tape the way you see here keeps the mat in place and also gives me a crisp, clean line at the edge of my page when I'm done. Here I'm using an erasable colored pencil that I picked up at the dollar store in black, and I'm just drawing out the shape of a mouth. You see, I wanted to make a fish tank or an ocean scene of some sort, since I have a stencil that I also bought at the dollar store that has a shark on it. But I also wanted to make a silly monster. So rather than having to choose which one I wanted to draw, I decided to do them both in the same picture. So here I just drew out the shape of the mouth, erasing some of the lines that got left behind because the paint I'm using is somewhat transparent. I'm using an orange and a yellow acrylic craft paint that I picked up also at the dollar store. I gave a thumbs up because this one here is a brand new one. I haven't even used it yet. So this here is a wedge of a makeup sponge that I just keep on using over and over in my different projects. And I got it a little bit wet in a bucket of water that I have off to the side. And I'm just dabbing it across the page to apply some of the paint. Now, me being a perfectionist, which art is helping me to overcome, but clearly not completely here, I just went in with a wet brush and lifted off some of that paint that got on the area where I wanted the white teeth to be. I'm applying some of the yellow paint and going back to some of the orange periodically, just trying to get a really nice gradient while playing with this makeup sponge. Now, with this makeup sponge being a rectangular shape on the end that I'm using it on, it's leaving a fair amount of lines. So I'm trying to figure out a way to get rid of that. So I started dabbing it with my finger and back to the makeup sponge because now it blended too much apparently. I don't know, I'm just having fun. Back and forth, the orange went down too far. Cleaning off my finger in the bucket of water off to the side. Oh, gotta dry it now. Adding some more orange. I have got a fair amount of paint on that plate. That's a plate that I picked up at the dollar store as well, just so that I have a paint palette for my art supplies. And this is how I keep on using the same makeup sponge over and over again. You saw I just basically dipped it into the water and squeezed it while it was in the water, and then I just let it dry. So I was going to go in with the black paint, and then I realized that my paper and my paint was still wet, so I had to dry it. Again, realizing I still have a lot of extra paint, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, and I don't want to waste it, so grab a piece of printer paper and just spread it all over the place. I'll use it in a project later somehow, I don't know, somewhere, but at least I feel like it's been used. So this is again Deco Art acrylic paint that I picked up at the dollar store. You'll probably see a theme here. I really like using cheap art supplies. Now, when I say cheap, I don't mean necessarily like super cheap. I really like using Deco Art. And what's the other one? Orchard Apple. It's the one you can get at Walmart as well. I don't have one beside me at the moment to look at. So now I'm just going around the outside with the black paint because it's going to be a black monster. trying not to be a perfectionist, but on the right hand side there, you can see that every time I try to fix the edge of the mouth just gets smaller and smaller. That's okay. Going in with another coat really quick because I can see some spots where it wasn't quite as thick as I wanted because my paintbrush was slightly wet. Dry it off. I'm just using a mini, like a foldable hair dryer that I got at Walmart. I picked it up for like $10. There's some more spots that I noticed that weren't quite as much paint on it as what I wanted. You could still see part of the paper through it. So just fixing things up again. And back to the drying phase. Because I'm super impatient. Now here's the stencil that I picked up at the dollar store as well. It's got a bunch of fish and stuff on it, but I thought, you know, that shark is going to be awfully lonely in there all by itself. So I've also got a stencil that I picked up on Amazon in a bundle to just add some plant life to the scene. So again, I'm using my paint sponge or my makeup sponge. Just dabbing the paint on. Try not to put it on too thick so that it doesn't bleed. And there we go. That's not too bad. For some reason, I ended up with these little black spots just randomly where I didn't even think that I had put paint. So I thought maybe I could get them off. And I was like, well, maybe I can't. That's okay because I'm trying to get over being such a perfectionist. So just let it be. It can be part of the ambiance of the scene. Here I'm going in and dabbing with the black. Again for silhouette of plants in the scene. Wiping off some of the excess paint on the back side of that so that I don't get more misplaced paint. Yep, that looks pretty good. Need something in this back corner. Dab, 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 dab. And dab a little more. Looking good. I mean, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's just silhouettes, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. I want it to be perfect. It doesn't have to be. Now, I'm thinking that shark looks pretty lonely. So, did I want to put a fish? Did I want to put a turtle? I ended up deciding to go with the turtle. Yep, I like it. It looks pretty cute. Can't waste any of that paint. Gotta use it for something. Maybe that piece of paper will make a comeback in another video. So now I'm thinking I need some eyes on this monster. So I quickly and loosely draw a couple of oval-ish circle things and just cut them out with a pair of scissors. There's one eye. And then I decided I wanted the other eye to be a little bit bigger. So why bother following the lines that I drew? Just make a bigger eye. Oh no. Did I make it too big? The eye might have been a little bit too big. That's okay. We're going to go with it. I drew in a rough outline of where I wanted the pupils to be. And now I'm going to glue the paper down. Grab that scrap piece of paper that I used to cut out the eyes in the first place so I don't get glue all over my surface and just glue them down. Just using a regular glue stick here. There we go. That looks pretty cute. Now I decide I'm going to get a black paint pen. Oh, that's not black, that's silver. Okay. No, that one's got too fine of a nib, and I haven't used that black paint pen. Okay, let's get this one here. I picked this up at Walmart. And now at this point I realize that when I opened up my silver black paint pen, I got a little drop of silver on the shark. So I'll go ahead and touch that up in a little while. Defining the teeth. Adding some teeth. I'm fixing up the spot that was on the shark. And this black paint pen that I got at Walmart, it's actually more of a dark gray. So against the super matte black Deco Art paint, you can really see the difference. So I just touched up that edging where the paint had overlapped. And now it looks nice and crisp and clean. So pull off that tape. Oh, a little bit of paper came up off with it, but that's okay. There we go. I like it. And thank you for watching my very first art journal video. See you next time.